Hey there guys, Fantasyco here. I'm Nathan and I am joined by Ieuan as per usual. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
So what we're doing today guys is something a little bit different. This is kind of experimental, so bear with us slightly. We're going to try and start doing what we're going to be calling basically the top sixes. And the reason we're going to be called the top sixes is because they're going to be 6 things. We don't know what they're going to be yet. We're going to make it up as we go along, and because there's 6 characters, this first video is going to be on the action skills. Now, what we're going to be talking about quite simply is the action skills on their own, without any other skills, quite simply. So as you can see here, we've got this. I'm going to do it in order. So, at number 6, the worst single point action skill, the worst action skill with nothing else with it, we've decided to put Jack. We have a lot of reasoning behind this. We went for about a 2-hour walk earlier, and I've gone to the wrong place. It's fine. We went for about a 2-hour long walk earlier, and we thought about this quite extensively. So, why did we choose Jack as number 6? Yeah.
Well, his action skill isn't. All it does is attacks, basically.
Yes.
Like they're just stationary Digijacks, and they just throw out these plasma balls that just do damage, and they're quite powerful, but they don't move, and they just attack enemies. Like, remember that this is like really late game, so you know they're doing a decent amount of damage.
They're doing a crap ton of damage, but that's all they're doing. They just stand there and they just shoot, and yeah, they do a crap ton of damage, but that's it. That's all they do, and quite simply, that's the reason that his action skill is number 6, because they don't do anything else. They just attack, and they don't add anything new. They don't give them a specific playstyle.
They don't help your allies or anything like that.
It's just there. So, unfortunately, Jack, while you are one of my favourite characters, your action skill is number 6. And there's nothing else to it. So we're going to move on to number 5. Wilhelm. Yep. Wilhelm is our number 5, guys. This is probably the one that took us the most consideration and thinking of where he should be in the list. And Wilhelm, I should clarify, is one of our favourite characters in the game. I've never played as him, Ieuan has, and I love Wilhelm as a playable character. He's got so much in him, capable-wise. He can be support, offense, defense, toughness, tank, whatever you want to say. But just as one point in his action skill goes, he is relatively similar to Jack. Now, the difference being, Jack is slightly better at offense.
You might want to aggro them.
Yeah, just do a bit of aggro. There you are. Wolf's just going to run in and start pinging them with a little bit of damage. There, see, he's not doing a huge amount of damage. Whereas if we had out Jacks at this point, they were doing like a lot more damage. I know I'm slightly lower level with this Wilhelm character, but we were doing slightly better damage, and yeah, sorry if that's a bit loud there, guys. We were doing slightly more damage, but obviously we were not getting the health regen. Now I just died anyway because I'm not really trying to fight. But we really didn't want to put Wilhelm so far down the list because he's such a he's a character that we both love so much. But realistically, he's just Jack with a bit less damage and a bit more survivability.
Yeah, the thing that I quite like about him, about Wolf, is that he's hard to hit. Like, I've seen a lot of people where they've tried to use like Torg weapons or something like that, or like rocket launchers against him, and they can't hit him because he's moving too quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas the Jacks are sitting ducks; they just get killed straight away.
Yeah, I've never played as Wilhelm before, by the way. I'm just as new as this as you guys are. So,
but you can see,
yeah,
how they work.
I've kind of ruined this little segment just by dying so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wolf is less powerful than the Jacks, but he has that kind of agility. He has that agility to him, which makes him a bit better than the Jacks for a different reason, though. He's more it is more defensive, quite simply, and that's why he is above Jack in the list. So, moving on to number 4. Aurelia. Our number 4 is Aurelia, with her Frost Diadem, or Cold as Ice as the ability is known. Now, she is DLC, so I will explain a little bit about what her ability does. When you activate it, you're going to throw her Frost Diadem, and it's going to latch onto an enemy. Cause constant cryo damage at like tiny intervals, like every half a second or so, and it attacks around it as well, so you'll see what I mean in a second. Now, here we go. You throw it, it latches on, and it causes damage initially to him, and it throws the shards around. Now, this is a very strong ability, and that is the reason why, and then once it kills him, it moves on to the next. And that is why it has come above Athena, what? Jack and Wilhelm. Purely because of its offensive capabilities. It's a much more offensive, straight up offensive ability than the other two. Jack's is just way too passive, even though it has strong offense, because it has no kind of... They don't move, quite simply. They stand there. And the Frost Item is able to move around and kill a lot of enemies. I will say, it was very close between Aurelia's Shard and Athena's Aspis, and I'll talk a bit more about Athena's Aspis next.
Yeah, and it was kind of close between Wilhelm and Aurelia, but Frost is just so overpowered.
Cryo is so dang overpowered in this game that it's impossible not to. The other thing is, it has no clipping. The Frost Diadem will go through walls, through floors, whatever. If you see an enemy on your map, throw your diadem in a direction and hope that it's the right direction, quite simply, and you will hit the enemy. And then once you're dead, he comes back, you get your cooldown, and so on and so forth. Now, in a way, the Frost Diadem is a lot more powerful than Aurelia's Shield, because it can be offensively stronger. It deals constant damage, it does jumps from enemy to enemy, has no clipping, etc. But, like I said, we'll move on to Athena in a second, and it just has no defensive qualities, and that is the reason why it's so far down our list, Aurelia's Shard. It has no defensive qualities, and if you want a one-pointer, you want to either have so much offense that the enemy doesn't get time, or you want enough defense that's going to keep you alive and deal damage. Now, I just need to remember to actually use the ability. See here now? He's just frozen, he's stuck in front of me. Now, but if Cryo wasn't as overpowered as it was, it wouldn't be that strong. Which is one of the reasons why it's above Wilhelm, is because of Cryo. The reason it's below Athena is because it has no defensive qualities. Is that everything about Aurelia?
Yep.
That's everything about Aurelia, guys. So, moving on to our number 3. Athena! Yep. If it wasn't obvious enough as it from Aurelia's description, Athena was our number 3. Now, it was in close tandem with Aurelia, but Athena just clipped it for us because of her really strong defensive capabilities, as well as her chunk damage right at the end. The chunk damage is very, very significant, and it actually works against most bosses in the game. And the Shard doesn't work against a lot of bosses in the game. The Aspis does. The Aspis will keep you alive for its 11-second duration, and then cause a nice bit of chunk damage right at the end. Now, I actually forgot to do something, but it's fine. I did it just before starting, so I don't know why I mentioned it. So, the Aspis is another one of these abilities. Now, it has a lot of defense, in fact, mostly defense, but it has the ability to be a very good offensive tool. And of course, how? Well, by the way, this Athena has a lot of legendary gear, so I'll try not to shoot too much. So we activate our Aspis, and we are just going to absorb damage. And we're going to absorb the damage, and then it's going to go up the tiers, and now we're at the max damage tier. We throw it, and we've done crap tons of damage to that enemy that we hit, and killed another. Now I'm just going to finish off him there, and run away a little bit. Now, the reason Athena's isn't higher is because it is only the skill. There's no extra points. If there was extra points, we did consider... That was kind of horrible. We would have considered Athena being second or even first because of her... damage potential and her survivability potential. But as it was, we had to go from just the 1 point in the skills, so she's third. What else is there? Yeah, having that invincibility for the 90 degrees in front of you just makes it a lot better than being able to freeze and kill enemies. I mean, let's just finish off these guys. I mean, they can't touch me. They're both in the same area. There's no one behind me on the map. I can just stand here tanking hits, and then I'll do a bit of damage at the end. You know, if you're with somebody as well, it is a very strong ability, and no one else's action skill is really strong to help your teammates. You know, if I had a teammate behind me there, could have covered my back and shot over my shoulder. So, yeah. Number 3 was Athena, guys, and we are going to move on to our number 2. Claptrap. Yep, our number 2 is Claptrap. Why? Well, he has the potential to be the strongest of the entire 6. Even with just the 1 point in there, he has so many different possible outcomes when you hit that action skill button. But one of them is always going to be the same. He's going to fully heal and gain health regen. So I'm gonna run in. I've got really strong equipment, so like I said, I'm gonna try and avoid a little bit at the same time. Now I've run in, blah de blah de blah de blah. I've taken a bit of damage, taking a bit more damage. I'm not taking a lot of damage, and I don't really know why. Blah de blah de blah. There's the grenade. Okay, I'm not taking a lot of damage here. There you go. Hit it. I've fully healed, and I've got a bit of health regen. It's giving me enough time to get into cover. And what have we chucked out? Minion Trap. Minion Trap is now going to sit out there and cause some havoc in that room while we fall back. Take advantage of that health regen and ping from a distance. Minion Trap's invincible. Actually, Minion Trap is my least favourite one that could have happened there, and he still did pretty good work for us. He still saved us pretty well, and he still did a pretty good job. Now, that initial health regen, like the 100% health fill and the health regen, is a fantastic addition to whatever it gives you. And it is probably one of the main reasons he made it up to number 2, was the health regen. But he would have come a lot lower if he didn't have that, but he would have come a lot higher if he didn't have some of the crapper potential outcomes of his action skill. So if we just wait a second for the next action skill, this might take a couple of turns. But here we are, we're going to chuck it in, we gain health, we're going to shoot a couple of grenade things out. What do we get? There we are! Fantasyco. So we get armor regen, we get constant firing, and we get a second gun or whatever we are holding. Now, combine that with the health regen, you know, we're pretty good. This is a really strong combination, especially with the Fragnum. The Fragnum works really well with this. That's one of the main reasons I'm using it with him. But when you get things like that, you are just going to wreck. And combine that with a team. If you were in a team composition and you activate that ability, your team gets a lot of the things. Like, if I got Fantasyco there, my team would get armor regen and constant fire rating as well. It's not quite as good for them because they don't get the second gun, but they still get the constant firing. And that constant firing and the armor regen is kind of good most of the time, you know? I won't lie, can get annoying, but a lot of the time it is really good. Now, like I said, it might take a little bit longer for the Claptrap and our number 1. You should know our number 1 by now, considering it's the only person left, but yeah. So I'm going to run up here now. For some reason I have massive health regen. I think it's because of my Bro Trap class mod. So we're just going to come up here, shoot him, took a hit, and we get Meet Unicycle. Now this is another one that's a bit, it can be a bit meh, it can be a bit good. It's basically Krieg off the second. You gain health regen, I think, when you get a kill. You gain huge melee damage, and also you just release novas like every couple seconds, and also every time you attack.
Also, that gives your allies increased melee damage.
Yes, without the restriction to melee. They can still shoot, they still have their gun equipped, but they gain the melee buff, which, again, it can be fantastic. One of the main reasons Claptrap is so high, because of the potential he has in a team fight. The potential he adds, even with just the single point in his action skill, to the team fights. That is one of the main reasons. He brings the most to a team. We're going to do one little track now, see what we get, and then we'll probably just move on to our number 1. So, let's just head up. Now, something worth noting as well is the conditions that appear on the screen. They can be read. By read, I mean you can get used to what it says when you activate it to know what's going to happen. What? Okay, there you go. Right, let's get out our Fragnum. Okay,
This guy seems to be...
Yeah, he's a bit broken and he's really, really tough, so let's just get on with fighting. But yeah, like, we've got the Fantasyco twice now, which is less than ideal, but it's probably something to do with one of the conditions that I haven't really noticed. I haven't played as my Claptrap in a very long time, so I'm not rightly sure. I used to play him pretty well. I haven't really played him in a while, so I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, the whole reason he's so high up on the board is his potential to be the strongest of all. You know, he's got the potential to be the best. He's got the potential to be the worst, but he's got the potential to be the strongest. The strongest one of all being when he decides he wants to be 0 off the second. So what he does is he throws down a decoy which all the enemies will shoot at, and then he can run around the map for about 10 seconds doing whatever he wants, shooting enemies, reviving teammates or anything, and the enemies will not attack him because he's invisible, and they will attack his decoy. That is so strong. It's even one of the strongest abilities when you have all of his action skill possibilities. You know, you get that and you want it. This is another fantastic one. Blightbot. Early game this happens a lot because I think it's based upon melee enemies. And what it does is he just flies around, dancing, singing, dealing corrode and fire damage to nearby enemies. And it is extremely strong early game. It's not that bad nowadays, like this late in the game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that was our number 2, guys, Claptrap. We are now going to move on to our number 1, our top place in the strongest single point action skills. Nisha. That's right, guys. Our number 1 is Nisha. If you don't know why, that's why. I will like to point out right now, I hate her with a passion. I think she took no thought or anything to make, and she's overpowered. She's so overpowered to the point where the game is stupid. I've never even played as her. I never intended to, but I'm going to play as her now just to show you. The reason I'm so high level is because I'm using Ieuan's Nisha. I had a playthrough with him. I was playing as my Jack. So, why is she number 1? Well, quite simply because her ability is an aimbot, which gives you crap tons of damage, fire rate, reload speed, accuracy, and bullet speed. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'll activate that, and I'll aim here. And it aims at them. Quite simply. I'm just going to pull the trigger and just shoot everyone. Now, I'll do it again in a second, but I'll do it slightly different this time, just to show you the 2 different, I would like to say, modes. Okay, now if you activate an aim, you automatically aim for their heads. Yep. You automatically aim for their heads. Now, I've never played as Nisha before, so I don't really know what I'm doing.
You don't need to. It's Nisha. Just activate her ability and aim.
But yeah, you can flick between targets extremely easily with the right stick. Yeah, that's it, guys. I really don't like her at all. I could go into... I'm going to make an entirely different video on reasons I despise Nisha. And I will genuinely make it.
But to show it off, we're going to have a fully leveled Nisha and a lot of class mods.
Yeah, and we haven't actually maxed out any characters level-wise yet, because the closest we got to was I was Claptrap, Ieuan was Wilhelm, and we had Athena with us as well. And when we got high level with that, we was around about the time where Jack came out, and I was dying to play as Jack, so I just went straight to playing as him. But yeah, and we made a point to avoid using the Celestial class mods, guys, because all of them change the action skill slightly. They add something, or they make something a little bit better, or whatever. Hers is the worst of all. What hers does is it adds 12.5% health steal to any damage you do in Showdown. So when you activate your action skill, any damage you deal is going to be returned to you. 12% of that damage is going to be returned to you, and that's just stupid.
We'll do a video like this on all the Celestial class mods if we feel like it.
Yeah, we'll do something different, a little bit different. But you know, I don't even want to speak. I spoke loads about Claptrap, but I don't really want to speak that much about this chick because
you don't need to. All you need to say is just look.
Her action skill. I mean, obviously, I'm not doing too great, and the reason is because you know I'm using a green gun, and I've never played this here before. Don't really know what I'm doing. But she's like, that's ridiculous. I mean, all I had to do was activate it, wait for the guy to spawn. Activate this, sorry. Wait for the guy to spawn, activate it, and job done. That was it. I just pulled the trigger a few times. Okay, yeah, you've got aim assist in this game. Snap aim, that type of thing. But it's not auto aim. You can literally pull the trigger down and you get like 0 recoil, hit them in the head. Like, if they're sidestepping you, that's the only way they can avoid your damage, is if they sidestep you. And that's ridiculous. Why would you make that? Why would you make an ability?
Ranting.
I could literally rant for hours about this chick. So
let's just finish this off.
That's pretty much it. Like, that ability there single-handedly plucks the best single action skill in the game. I prefer Athena's, but it's not. We did a lot of, like, I wouldn't say maths because we didn't actually do maths, but we did a lot of thinking about it, and realistically, this bitch does have the best, and I can't think of any other word to call her than a bitch, so I'm just gonna say that. Did I miss anything?
No.
Just why did they broaden automatically aim right there? It's just in bold. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go now. Hope you enjoyed this kind of new thing that we're gonna try. We're gonna try doing a lot more of them. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't agree with us, let us know why. It'd be interesting to see what people's opinions are on this. I know a lot of people's opinions are different, but we've kind of gone for the more logical explanations for everything, as well as our own personal opinions. Between us, we've played as everybody, so, you know, it makes sense. And apart from that, guys, cheers for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.